let's transition into the biggest reaches of the draft.
I'm going to go with Peter Woods in round 1. You take Peter Woods, you don't know what you're getting from him.
I'm going to go with Caleb Banks. That's not somebody you bet on with the 18th pick.
My other reach I thought was Quintavius Hutchkins. I never understood the love for Hutchkins. He has linebacker size. He has defensive end speed.
Ty Simpson, I don't want to talk too much about that because I think we hit on that, but that was my biggest reach in the first round. For the entire draft, I'm going to go Kaelon Black.
Tony, let's transition into the biggest reaches of the draft for you. Let's start with the first round, and then give me your overall reach pick.
I'm going to go with Peter Woods in round 1, probably because he disappointed me so much in 2025. I thought coming into the season he could be a top 12 pick. I mean, the Chiefs needed receivers. They could need help on the offensive line. There were a lot of good receivers available. Still some offensive linemen, even still some edge rushers after taking Mansour Delane. You take Peter Woods, you don't know what you're getting from him. Peter Woods was advertised as this athletic defensive tackle, didn't test well, it's not really big. I thought that the Chiefs probably could have made another move down out of the first round, collect some extra draft capital, and then select him. And then my other reach I thought was Quintavius Hutchkins, who the Patriots took in the last round. I never understood the love for Hutchkins. I mean, he was at the Senior Bowl. He was at the Combine. He didn't have great production. I mean, the kids from the MAC, the Central Michigan kid and Tucker from Western Michigan had much better production. He has linebacker size. He has defensive end speed. He ran in the mid-4.7s at Pro Day. He played at 244 pounds. I just never understood the love for Hutchkins in the scouting community.
Yeah, and I certainly didn't love him for my team here. So I'm with you for sure. How about you, Luke, in terms of biggest reaches? We've talked about this guy already, but it holds true here.
Yeah, well, I almost went with Peter Woods, so I think that was a great pick by Tony, but I'm going to go with the other defensive tackle that went in round 1 and with Caleb Banks. I mean, look, I can see what the Vikings liked in him. When he's on the field, he can be a disruptive pass rusher. He can be a great player. But he's 327 pounds at the Combine and has like 3 foot injuries and is coming off a broken foot. Like, that's not somebody you bet on with the 18th pick, especially when there were so many defenders there that could have helped him. Being a first rounder, I would have liked it in the second round, maybe even the third round if you could get him. That would have been great betting on upside there. But again, he's a first round talent, but probably not a first round bet based on his health history. And then, we talked about my second biggest reach of this draft earlier in Nate Boerkircher, or however you pronounce that again. But
valiant effort twice.
Yeah,
valiant effort.
Yeah, I'm trying, but everybody I've seen so many videos of people just like jaw on the floor after that pick. And it's not even necessarily that he was a second rounder. It was just all the tight ends that were still on the board when he went. It's just, I don't think it made sense to anybody. I don't think it ever will make sense to anybody except for, the Jags front office. But yeah, I think that was easily the biggest reach of the draft just based on big board spot and reaction to it.
Where was he in your tight end mix, Tony?
5th, 6th round. I mean, even if you read my write-up overall, you can read my write-up on him at a scouting report, or you can read what I wrote about him this morning when I reviewed the Jaguars draft. I don't see him as anything ever better than a number 2 tight end. He's not really big. He's not really fast. He's a hard worker, and he gets the most from his ability. But you draft guys like that in day 3 if you want players like that, not in the second round.
Yeah,
they said they need a backup for Brenton Strange, so might as well get a good one, right?
And again, it's like watching draft day, when Costner takes advantage of the Jaguars, the new Jaguars GM. That's what this reminded me of right there. It was like, who should I take? It's like, all right, well, we're gonna hit on a guy nobody's on. Okay, good job.
You want to know something? I've never watched that movie.
Have you
never
really?
watched that movie. Never watched.
Never seen that movie.
All right.
Man.
Here's what I will say to you. Okay.
Oh no.
It is Hollywood, right? It's
why I don't watch it. Yeah.
It is Hollywood. It's Costner's take on an NFL. It has very much of the trappings. Did you ever see it for love of the game?
Yes, and I really enjoy that movie.
You enjoyed that. You would enjoy
Well, because
this.
what's John Travolta's deceased wife is in it, and
You're
I
right,
I
Kelly
like watching
Preston.
her.
So
Right, there you go.
it's very similar in terms of
Okay.
Vince Scully. You had the baseball.
All right.
You have the football here, and quite honestly, they were ahead of the times in terms of the draft, the capology, and in terms of paying attention to that. They were ahead of a bunch of stuff. But then, you know, they hit on it because it's the Costner Jennifer Garner love story that's in it, and you know, what's his the Black Panther actor? Gosh, why am I
Chadwick
blanking?
Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman, right? He was figured in there prominently. Some just a great cast overall. Yeah, I just in terms of getting you in the mood, I get it why the diehards hated it, but in terms of getting me in the mood to really get there, I it still holds up for me even today. So
I'm glad I've never watched it because I'll take Kelly Preston over Jennifer Gardner any day. Just my own personal point of view.
a very fair take, Daniel. We
I don't know how I can move on from that. Like that's impossible.
Have you two seen it? Have you seen?
I've seen it. Yeah,
thumbs up or
I've seen
thumbs
it.
down?
I'm kind of in the middle. It's
Okay.
like I get to like the end of it and like just my brain, just the way it works, like it's just like, oh my god, that's so unrealistic. So like I always hate like how like the whole draft sequence goes because it's like that'll never happen. But like yeah, I mean it's like a fine movie. I understand why people like it.
Now, for the last probably 4 years, like covering the draft and stuff, I just put it on that morning of the draft and I write whatever like previews I need to do. So I half pay attention to it and like half don't. But I'm actually on the other page as Daniel because I actually really enjoy the draft sequence because I just think it's hilarious. Like it's not realistic at all, but it's
No,
like
no, I know it's funny.
I think it actually does a good job of giving you the feel of like how these teams feel about these players and moving up to get their guy and like wheeling and dealing. It's like, I want David goddamn Putney because I feel like it. Like,
Yeah.
Another funny thing about the movie, I don't remember what year it was filmed, but I do remember being at the theater at Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
And they were making announcements to the crowd. If the lights go down, we're filming for the new Draft Day movie, blah, 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 blah. And the lights would dim. They wouldn't go off. The lights would dim. And they would just film scenes of the crowd during while the actual draft was happening.
Right. Yeah.
They never got that crazy guy who was screaming about Kyle Brady in the movie, though. They probably should have got him in.
I think it was 2000. It came out in 2014, so I think it was the 2013 draft.
It could have been.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Biggest reaches for you, Daniel.
Yeah, so back on track here. We've already talked about it a ton. Ty Simpson, I don't want to talk too much about that because I think we've hit on that. But that was my biggest reach in the first round. And then for the entire draft, I'm going to go Kaelon Black. The Niners taking him in the third round. It was a big surprise. Like we need to do a study on Kyle Shanahan and taking running backs in the third round for some reason. Like it happens every single year. I don't know what his fascination is with it, but I thought Black was as a day 3 guy. I think especially taking him over guys like Singleton and Allen from Penn State. Like I thought I had higher grades on those two. So I think it was just a little bit of a surprise to me. And that for me was my biggest reach overall.
Luke, you're changing the doc as we're talking. That's bold of you.
Yeah. I realized I talked about Caleb Downs earlier, so I needed to change it so I didn't just hit on the same point again.
Luckily, I have some of these graphics, but
oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, would you rather we talk about Caleb Downs for a second time or talk about somebody else?
A great point for sure. All right, guys. I just it's like you got this fatigue in talking about Francisco Mendoza. But tell me, let's just talk about value in 26. Let's talk about where we see the guy and the impact that he could make. I gotta say, I enjoyed the conversation on NFL Network it was very first take. It was, like 7th round. They had this conversation. I think it was like the question was, when he starts, more starts or higher draft pick. And Charles Davis and Daniel Jeremiah just went at each other. So I figured that would be a good way for us to get in here. If I ask you total games started for Mendoza or Raiders wins, which number is higher, Luke?
I'm going to go with Raiders wins just because I think there's a chance it's Mendoza games started, but I actually kind of like what the Raiders have done this offseason, bringing in players and then what they did in the draft. So I think their floor is definitely a lot higher than 3 wins like it was last year. And Kirk Cousins isn't a bad quarterback. I mean, they've said blatantly that's who they want to start the year out with. And ideally, he would start like almost the whole year. And then, Fernando could take over in 2027.
You're saying week 18 on the document.
Yeah.
You said week 18 is his first start.
Yeah, that was kind of a bolder take. I think
You're
it probably will start earlier. But, hey, I mean, you never know. If,
you are on between Cousins staying healthy and the fervor to get your number 1 pick. I love you, but that you're dealing crack on that prediction.
I'm buying into that whole. They've said like 1,000 times that they don't want him to start right away, and I think even Daniel Jeremiah said on the broadcast ideally he wouldn't start this year. Obviously, he probably will start this year, but it might not be until a meaningless Week 18 game or Week 17, whenever they get eliminated from the playoffs. I mean, if they really want to do what's best for him,
it's not 2008. That's my biggest thing.
It's not.
We're not in that world anymore.
I don't know. All right. When he starts on Week 18 for the first time, then do I get a raise or something?
Hell yeah!
We'll circle back to this.
I'll take you to the same steakhouse that Tony's taking Pat Leonard. I'll give you a $5,000 bonus if it goes to Week 18 that Fernando Mendoza is starting.
Yeah. Clip it.
Tony, help me here. We're not living in that world anymore, right?
Yeah, well, just be advised, Luke. If 17 weeks pass and Mendoza doesn't start, and they announce he's going to start on Week 18, you're going to get fired immediately. So, listen, I tend to agree with you, but listen, I compare it to the Jackson Dart situation. Jackson Dart started, and I broke the story. Basically, the end of September, what was it, Week 4 and Week 5 for the Giants? Now, Jackson Dart started for a different reason. Jackson Dart started because Brian Daboll needed a jump start to try and save his job with the Giants. And it looked like he was on his way, except the team had 2 collapses, and they had to get rid of Daboll. He's going to sit. The thing is you look at the Raiders, they spent a lot of money on the offensive line this offseason, and it's going to take a while for that offensive line to gel. And you're going to want, Kubiak's going to want to get him out there just to show that, hey, I made the right move coming to Las Vegas, and we made the right move, drafting Fernando Mendoza. So I think it's, number one, I think Mendoza's further ahead being NFL ready than Jackson Dart was. And then I look at what they've invested in the offensive line, where the Giants' offensive line really struggled last year. You look what the Raiders invested in that offensive line. You give a month for that offensive line to gel before you put Mendoza on the field.
Yeah, and so you're at 13 starts total. Is that
correct?
Accurate.
I think first week of October, Mendoza is going to be inserted into the lineup.
Yep. And that's pretty much where I'm at. Cousins is going to start. But I mean, even when the Patriots were just absolutely like maniacally set on Drake May sitting and playing Jacoby Brissett, it lasted 4 weeks until the fan cry was just too much. And I just think you're gonna, even with Tom Brady in the building, I just think so. How many wins do you have the Raiders at this moment?
Myself?
Yep.
I mean, maybe. I think they'll surprise, but they'll win 6 or 7 games.
I don't think they were as bad to begin with as a number one pick. That's why I feel like they may even, like you said, they may get on a run at the end of the season to get near 500. Daniel, where are you at in terms of?
Well, let me just say this.
Yeah.
That improved offensive line is going to help Ashton Genty, who was
Yeah.
disappointing last year. Brock Bowers, hopefully he's back to full health. Now he'll have good quarterbacks throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
And they made some investments on defense. So I don't think they're going to be a Commanders as we saw 2 years ago.
Prototypical first number one pick team. Yeah.
But I think they're gonna be significantly better.
Absolutely. How about you, Daniel? Where do you stand on the topic?
Well, as the Raider fan here, I want to just touch on what Luke said. This team always wins the offseason, quote unquote, wins the offseason. And then every single year they come into the season and it's just a dumpster fire as we get the season going. So as much as I love what they've done this offseason, I just still think there's a little bit of skepticism with me. I love how they've reshaped the secondary. The defense just looks night and day compared to what it was entering week 1 last year. It's just I'm still not fully sold on them making a big jump. And I do think Cousins is going to come out and start, but I think Mendoza's a lot further along than a lot of people have anticipated. He's been working with Brian Grease to kind of learn being that under center type of quarterback. It kind of just reminds me of the Joe Burrow situation where we all kind of knew he was going to be the first pick, so we got a head start on the playbook he was going to eventually run in the NFL. So I think Mendoza's a lot further along than people think in terms of just running the under center and running an NFL offense. But I think they're still going to play patient with him. I have Mendoza game started. I think there'll be more, but I think he starts around week 10, and that's kind of the basis I have.
I just don't see a world where they sit him half the season
because Kirk Cousins, one of his best seasons was with Clint Kubiak in Minnesota. He knows how to run the offense. The only thing that I think he would start ahead of it is just health. If Cousins goes down, because I think you have to play it slow with him, and I think you've built this offensive line, you've built this structure, you've built everything perfectly, as perfect as you can, and like Raider fans, like they're not the stupidest people in the world. Like they understand like there's no reason to rush him out. So like I feel like unless Cousins is being Russell Wilson bad last year or something where it's just unwatchable, like they're going to be patient and they're going to understand that it's better to have Mendoza sit.
I mean, I can at least live with week 10. I think that's an extreme reach, but I mean, I'm just telling you right now, Luke, if it gets, I mean, you need the absolute best case scenario. You need Kirk Cousins to look like prime Tom Brady. You need everybody healthy. You need a 13-2 start. Like you just need so many things.
Even if they're around 500 by November, like I don't think there's a rush to get him on the field.
Yeah, and another thing I was saying,
this entire front office. I'm sorry, but this entire front office has spent this entire offseason to get this team into a state to have a rookie quarterback enter it. You upgrade the offensive line. You go get a defense that can actually like hold its ground, because when this defense, when he eventually starts, like they're all under contract during his rookie contract. So they've spent this insane amount of money on the defensive end.
You're talking football smart. I do not begrudge you that one iota. You're talking football smart. I'm just factoring in every other factor here. The business of it, the $1 billion business of it, and the commodity and the selling of the Mendoza jerseys. I'm just factoring in every other factor. I wouldn't be shocked, quite honestly, if Cousins looks used up in training camp and Mendoza starts week 1. I think that's more likely than them holding him out till week 18.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's
2 points.
Yeah.
Oh. What'd you say?
My 2 points are, 1, I think there's a chance I think he probably does start earlier than week 18, but we're trying to be a little different and have different opinions. So I think,
again, absolutely.
With Patrick Mahomes, he was the last one that did that, where he didn't start till week 18, and now look at him. I know it was a different situation in Kansas City. They were a much better team. But, I mean, look how it turned out for him. He got a whole system behind a veteran like Alex Smith, Kirk Cousins, and look how well it turned out for them.
It's fantastic. Again, it did. We're in a different world.
Tell you what, I'm
my
going to hit up
only
Fernando,
point.
and since he's such a good guy, he'll help me get that $5,000 bonus, and he'll tell him
Man,
not to start.
Fernando, my guy, he's
I'm
got
telling
you.
you
He's got
what, you have the tape. I might we're going live, and I might destroy the tape after this, but it will live. It will
Don't worry,
live.
it's already clipped. It's already clipped.
It's already clipped. It's already clipped. All right.